I always have to, I'm always trying to do the but for question. What if? Well, but for this, blah, 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 blah. And, we put a large amount of resources of the movement into the ballot initiatives. And I think that's been a good investment. I think it's made sense, and the victories that we've had has made a difference. There are good substantive reasons, but another reason why that's happened is because bottom line businessmen respond to proposals about ballot initiatives because they are concrete, they have a fixed objective, election day 2000 whatever, right? It's measurable, it's very, it's something they can relate to. State legislative efforts are a little tougher, you get it down and all of a sudden, in the 24th hour some chairman bottles up a bill and you can't get it through, but it's a little more. Now, so many of you have spoken to me and my colleagues about how about the funding for the grassroots? How do we get it going? Every year I'm constantly with John Sajo. How do we get more money in Oregon? How do we want, and other people in a range of other states, Alaska, or you name it. I believe in the grassroots. As Bill said at a normal thing a few years ago, the initiatives don't happen unless the grassroots have done their work. He's got to stand on their shoulders in order to win these initiatives. The public opinion has to be there already in order to win an initiative, and the way you get the opinion there is through the grassroots efforts and the cultural transformation. I'm trying to figure out how we provide, quote-unquote, a business plan in such a way that the wealthy businessmen will give millions of dollars to support the grassroots efforts that will help change the cultural milieu in such a way that we can win ballot initiatives and win this thing ultimately. And unfortunately, I have not come up with the answer yet. All I can say is that for all of you working at that level and sending in the proposals to whatever grants programs there may be, or into me or what have you, figuring out those measurables, I can't figure it out because we're trying to create a cultural change, a dialogue, a different conversation. But that's the piece that's so tough and frustrating. I think there is a will and a way and a recognition that this stuff needs to be supported, but some of the key finance support has not made the leap in part because we haven't provided the means and the measurements by which they can do that. That's the challenge right now. So, anyway, I am always looking for the silver linings. I am even looking for silver linings, on the Bush White House. I mean, quite frankly, I don't know, the new Drug Czar has been chosen, although not announced. His name is, I can't tell you yet. So, but he is somebody, all I can tell you this is it's not promising. He's somebody who's been there before, not as the Drug Czar, but, been around. More of an Ashcroftian than somebody else. But on the other hand, it's Republican governors, not just Gary Johnson. Pataki, he didn't go as far as we would have liked, but he went farther than people expected a few months ago in Rockefeller reform. John Rowland in Connecticut, he's right out there saying if we're going to get blacks in the Republican Party, we better start addressing the mandatory minimum issue, because all black people think the Republican Party wants to do is to lock them up or fry them. That's a Republican governor saying that, and his bill may go through, right? Tommy Thompson, he was a governor of Wisconsin before he became head of HHS in the Bush administration. A year ago he stood up, I think, at his state address, and he said, I've maxed out on prisons. We got to find another way. And privately, he's gone even further. And he had needle exchange in that state. And the new aides are they just appointed? This guy, just forgot his name?
Scott Everett.
Scott Everett, right? Pro-life, but he was asked about needle exchange. He said, hey, the evidence is it works. Tommy Thompson's pick, his aides are, that's Bush's aides are saying needle exchange works. Right up there in his first interview in USA Today. Okay, I'm not giving up there. There's some libertarian streak that runs the Republican Party more deeply than it runs the Democratic Party, at least at the political level. There's some cost-benefit sensibilities, and my bet is a lot of those Republican politicians spend more time with businessmen telling them the whole drug war is corrupt and a bust and they should just legalize the damn stuff than the Democratic politicians do. So I'm not giving up. I'm not holding my breath for Nixon goes to China on this stuff, but I'm not giving up. Okay? I do think we are going to win this. But it means not, it's not the either-or choices. It's understanding, remaining true to our core principles, figuring out the tactics that will get us there, but that won't just get us there, that along the way are going to be bringing in everybody else. It's remembering every talk you give, every speech you make. It's not just about the freedom to use drugs, but about two other things. Our freedom to do to our minds and our bodies what we see fit has to go hand in hand with people being held accountable for their behavior, whether they have a substance in their body or not. Accountability is always, has to be, the flip side of individual freedom. And the other thing, if it ever seems or sounds like we are closing our heart to the millions of Americans who are struggling with drugs in their life or with drugs in the life of somebody they love, if it sounds like we don't care about them, if it sounds like we're not sensitive to them, if it sounds like we're not addressing what they are, then we lose. And I think we also give up a part of our soul if we don't address what they're about as well. Let me stop there. Thanks.
We so happy we alive, we together can survive.